But yeah, he was the reigning hide-and-seek champion for about 7 years.
Wow.
Damn.
Well, welcome everybody to the inaugural Encounter podcast. I'm your host, Ben. I'm joined by Marcos in the blue corner and Tommy T.
Hello.
Over in the red corner.
There's no corners.
But
There's also no red,
No red.
but okay.
yeah.
And Ben, who's colourblind. And corner blind.
Imagine if you were corner blind.
How would that even work?
Like you just,
Would you just think that every room is just
every
massive?
room is flat, but like
Maybe
until
that's
you
where
hit
the world
corner.
just flat came from.
Gee,
Just someone that's
yeah.
corner
Someone just can't
Oh.
see corners.
Wow, that's a good point.
What do you
I'd
think
never-
happens?
Yeah, I don't. Well, the thing is, I don't think that anybody suffers from this problem. So, welcome to the podcast. We're going to be focusing on a few different things throughout the episodes. First up, though, we've got something that me and Marcos are particularly nervous about.
I'm not.
Tom, on the other hand, couldn't be more pleased.
Tom.
Over to you.
Tom's top snack. Tom's top snack. So, there you go. There's the intro music. So, I get to bring in a snack of some. I won't. Snack's a loose term. I'm going to tell you now. I'm going to scour the internet and weirdo shops that you shouldn't go in by yourself and find like cheap food that we've probably never eaten before. Some of it might be good.
Okay.
Some
Well,
of it
fingers
might be
crossed.
good things.
Okay.
These guys know a little bit about what I've been looking into.
I'm not excited.
They're usually insect-based.
Oh.
And so I thought, because it's the first one, and I wanted to set the mood of this day,
Right.
because we're all a bit nervous. Not nervous. We're all a bit wanting this to be the best it can
I'm
be.
more nervous now.
Yeah,
The more I
you're
talk
building
about
the
it, yeah.
suspense.
Shall I go get it? Shall I go put you out your misery?
Yeah,
if you
okay.
have to.
Okay. 1 second, por favor. That's
Mind the
Spanish.
step.
Ah! I didn't see that corner.
Is this the time to tell you I've turned vegetarian as of like 10 minutes ago?
Good choice.
Won't help you with this one, mate.
Was that before or after you downed that chicken for lunch?
Hey, that was more than 10 minutes ago.
Can you down a chicken?
Yeah, literally.
Down in.
Yeah. If you're my cat, you can down a chicken. Trust me.
I'm not your
what
cat.
size is your
Okay.
cat?
She's big.
He's catablind. Colourblind, cornerblind, and catablind.
Yeah, she's not that big actually. Right, what you got for us?
I've got. Genuinely, it's a nice thing.
Okay, good.
Okay.
All right,
I
all
don't know
right.
what it is.
Still
You
okay.
think.
So
You
this
don't
is
know
for-
what it is. Now
No.
I'm even more nervous.
No, exactly. Well, I want it to be fun for me too. I'll show you guys first for the audio listeners because it's a podcast. This won't mean anything to you because I'm going to show these guys why I bought it, and they'll see immediately why I bought it. For the video viewers,
Yes,
viewers,
that's what you do when you watch something.
Yeah.
You view it.
I'm obviously going to show you guys because it'd be weird for me not to show you. Behold,
What?
what is it?
What is that?
Barbecue
Not-
corn?
Not a clue.
It's like a
Not an
corn.
absolute clue. Look at that.
There's like sweet corn.
Looks like you.
Yeah, you guys describe it for the audio listeners.
So the package is bright kind of turquoise green, and then there's this sort of sweet corn with a smiley face. It's got some like Japanese, Chinese letters over the top of it, and then he's surrounded by what look like corn sticks and kebab skewers. But he's got like big folded arms and
I
stuff.
like his
He looks-
hair. It's very wavy hair.
Yeah.
Now, the
he's
thing,
got,
first of all,
like-
let me just show the camera real quick.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wow.
Incredible.
It looks it.
Better on the back.
What's it say on the back? Oh yeah, this
This
is
is
fine. What? Yeah, what? And
That's,
is it
that's,
like?
a, that's a meme, innit?
So it's like
That's a
sweet.
meme with the dog. There's
Oh,
a
is
dog
it?
meme. Like,
It's
that our
this-
younger viewers will know.
So the corn is like sat in a burning room.
I don't
Is
know if that's in
essentially
focus or not.
is that essentially what's happening here?
Yeah, corn's in a burning room, and he's saying something in, I'm not sure, not Hong Kong, that says Harlow. Products of China, so something in Chinese, but also the translation, presumably, in English, where he just says, this is fine, which is a meme of a dog. We'll cut to that now. We won't.
Right, what does it say it is on the back? Because on the back of the packet it says...
Calbee Grillacorn. Calbee is the
Gorilla
name.
corn.
Calbee. Grill.
Oh, I thought you said gorilla
Grill.
corn. I was like, what?
And it says tear down. Tear down for what?
Tear down for what?
But yeah, I thought we'd...
Okay,
can't get into
alright.
it.
You can't open it. He can't open it.
I've opened it.
He's done it. What does it smell like?
Can we all give a sniff test?
Sniff test. Sniff test.
I think we should do this with
I'm not
every...
sure what they smell like.
Oh, your turn, Marcus. Come on,
My
you
turn.
give that a little sniffy sniff.
Oh,
I don't know.
that's interesting.
But you can't tell me. Look, like just the sweet corn on the front with teeth. And I'm not actually sure if it's got eyes. I know it clearly does. But also that just could be part of whatever
the
that
symbol.
symbol is.
Yeah.
And what does the symbols even say? We need
Also,
to
it's got
know.
arms. Have we talked about the sweet corn's got arms?
Yeah.
Did you talk about that?
I did talk about it having crossed arms a bit like a...
I wasn't listening. I was so excited.
like it was about to do taekwondo or something. Which I assume is what they're trying to allude to here.
Taekwondo.
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 I don't know what the pun you were going for was.
Maybe that's what they're doing.
Taekwondo.
Oh, you did. Oh, I
Right.
just repeated it
Yeah.
louder.
What we got? What we got? Ingredients.
I wasn't gonna-
Cornmeal, palm oil.
It looks better with it in front
Palm
of
oil
you.
in it, guys.
Oh,
But-
sorry.
Sorry, world.
Orangutans in it.
Yeah. Barbecue seasoning,
Sorry,
sugars.
orangutans.
Oh, this has got wheat and soy in it. So
Oh, I can't have it then.
may also contain crustaceans, egg, fish, peanut, milk, and
I'm
nuts.
vegetarian, I can't have fish. Just kidding. Just kidding.
I think it'll be fine.
There's an anti-caking agent in it.
Oh, I like cake.
Yeah.
Does this mean... Wait, so if I eat one, does that mean I'll go off cake?
Yes. The anti-caking agent. It's a bit
Maybe
like...
They
there
actually...
isn't-
They look like knickknacks.
Yeah, they do look like knickknacks.
Knick-knack. Could be a crustacean. Could be an anti-cake.
Oh,
Go in
crunchy.
for it. All the way. Right.
Oh, I'll tell you what.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Crunch test.
Oh, yeah. YFC ASMR. Oh, I didn't...
Got another one.
They're quite Moorish.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, full disclosure, what these guys have, like I said before, these guys know that I was looking at snacks for this, and the main recurring thing that kept coming up was a tin that just says the word snails on it. That was within the budget. I was going to get that, but I thought I'd start us off easy.
I appreciate that choice.
We're glad.
Yeah. I'll
quite an
take another one
interesting-
as well.
Well,
It's fairly bland.
yeah, do you know what? As soon as I ate it, and I thought these are really good. I don't think it's good. I think it's fine.
I think it's just sort of like...
This is fine.
fine.
That's what the guy said.
Yeah.
Not guy.
Oh
Corn.
yeah, this is fine.
This is fine.
How do you gender a sweet corn?
You don't gender a sweet corn.
Can I just finish this?
At least I don't
No.
think so.
No, I bought these.
Oh, okay.
I'll put them over here for now and we'll finish them later on when we're editing all of this out.
Yeah. So, if you've got a suggestion for the next type of food we should be eating, Then-
I'm having more before.
oh, he's still crunching around. Are you spilling that on my laptop?
I spilled one on.
Oh,
No, I spilled two.
oh, Tom.
Floor's lava. I mean 5 second rule.
How'd you get them two confused? The floor is lava in the 5 second rule.
This is like if you're
Sorry, Mum.
if you're presumably if you're watching this, right, you've watched encounter videos before and how slick they are. After a lot of creative editing, 'cause this is normally what it looks like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of me just doing stupid things.
Wow. So what I was about to say was, if you are a young person...
You're really enjoying those, aren't you, Tom?
Wow, crunch away, mate.
Go on, keep talking.
If you are a young person and you've got a food suggestion for us to eat in an episode of the Encounter podcast, you can email Tommy T on his email address.
Am I giving it out?
Yeah, we're giving it out. I'm giving it out for you, mate.
Should we give his phone number at the same time?
Yeah.
You don't know my phone number.
Don't worry, it's his work email, so I
never check it.
Feel free to spam him all you like. Also, if you enjoyed this section, why not leave us a comment down in the comment section, because, well, we're needy human beings. We need to feel vindicated in our efforts to entertain you. So
we've been saying for a long time that we've wanted to do a podcast, and we need some nice comments in the comment section so that the powers that be above us, not God necessarily, but also see that it was a good venture, that we were supposed to buy these microphones and we were supposed to have a sweet corn crisp budget. Oh, looking for corners.
You said
fishing
the powers above us. Okay, well, moving on to our next section. So if you've watched the most recent Encounter Online episode for June, you'll know that the episode was about songs and poetry from the Bible, and we talked about how the Bible is just very comfortable with exploring the issues that we have as humans, whether that's like feeling lonely, feeling abandoned, feeling sad, feeling happy, feeling joyful, feeling depressed or anxious. Whatever it is, the Bible actually spends a lot of its time talking about those things, and is not afraid to talk about them. So that was kind of what the episode was about. If you haven't watched it, why not pause this right now and go and watch that? We'll probably put like a little linky link in the description, and then come back afterwards, because we're about to discuss it.
Discuss.
Yeah. So, you guys have watched the episode. I talked a lot about King David, the character of King David, who goes from being essentially kind of like a farm boy in his kind of teenage years, I imagine, to being the king of his people, God's people, the Israelites. So he's a big player in the whole scheme of the Bible. He's kind of handpicked by God. God gives him like a very big calling on his life. By saying, like, essentially the previous king Saul was a bit of an idiot, and God anoints David to be the king who's going to kind of resolve the problems that Saul had created. So David doesn't get off lightly. Like, his life is a complex beast. And so he spends a lot of his time writing psalms, i.e. songs and poems, to help him kind of get through the challenges that life throws at him. And one of the things I talked about in the talk was that that's just kind of exactly what songwriters do today.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? You know, there are millions of songs in the world that are about life issues and challenges that we go through, and love lost and love found and heartbreak and all of that stuff. And you know,
I can't think of any others, but yeah, those are the main ones.
And
just love.
So one of the big questions that I have is, why do you think, or do we think, that human beings need to express themselves through songs and poetry and art? What are you laughing about?
Humans beings.
Humans beings.
Humans beings. Why do you think we need to, like, why do you think we need to express ourselves? Like, what's that all about? Like, because if we spoke to an animal, they wouldn't go like, you know what, I've had a tough day, so
I don't know. Huskies. They sing.
Do they?
Oh, what?
Like, woo! Yeah, I don't know.
Exactly.
Do you think they're doing that?
Is this a serious bit of the podcast?
Probably.
I don't know. Is there any serious bit to this podcast?
I mean, the snack was. I
took
it a lot more seriously than you guys.
Wait, serious as in like seriously in your belly, mate. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
The husky thing's thrown me. The question is, do animals sing?
Well, no, but like, no, my point is that like animals don't do that. They don't go, you know, like, I've had a really tough day at work and I'm just going to go and write a song about it. Like,
Birds.
Got one word for you, mate.
Birds.
Links into that. Parrots.
parrots.
Parrots are absolutely capable of saying that.
Right. Yeah, you got a point there. Yep. So why do you
See you
think,
next
like-
week. Oh no, we're not doing one next week.
Why do you think we as human beings have this, like, you know, because I would say, like, I write songs, and I would say that when I write a song, it's not because I, like, necessarily sit down and, you know, I'm going to write a song today. Like,
Yeah.
it's like sometimes I feel like I need to write the song. Like, the words that I want to say are kind of my way of kind of dealing with that, or something like that.
Well, I feel like it's just a much more emotive way of, well, expressing yourself than just talking.
Oh, so, okay, emotive is a good word.
Emotive
So
is a good
emotions have something to do with it. Right.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying. That,
Yeah.
like, we're emotional beings.
Yeah.
And therefore, being an emotional being means that at some point you need to oust that emotion.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know about oust, but
Oust.
is that the word?
I don't know. Like, put it
I
out
went with
there.
everything apart from that, and because I don't know what that one word means, I'm not sure if I
means-
agree with your sentiment or
Like,
not.
put it out there. I don't
Like,
know.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that makes sense.
like,
I think especially like modern day. I think you alluded to it in your encounter talk. I don't know. I was sort of half paying attention.
you're fired.
Yeah, that's a regular
It's
segment on the podcast.
It's the
you'll get.
third time today.
Yeah.
Just the thing.
But we live in, like, especially nowadays, there's a lot of emphasis on mental health and things like that, obviously. Rightly so, I would say. And sort of writing stuff down. This is a personal sort of thing. But, like, putting things on paper or even just, like, typing things out on, like, my laptop gets it out of my head a bit. And like to see it sort of written down sort of takes pressure off of me
Oh, okay.
internally,
Yeah.
because for me naturally as a person, if I've got a thought in my head that might not be in the best place, something like that, I will ruminate on it and I will spiral in worst case scenario. Whereas if as soon as I start having that, I get into the habit of putting it down on something, so it's out. It feels like it takes it out of my head almost. And it's like, there you go. I've dealt with it,
Yeah.
and I might not have even dealt with it. I might have just, but the process of getting it out of my head means I'm not gonna spiral, and I can sort of come back to that at
Yeah.
a point where I might be in a better mental place.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And a logical mental place, I guess, to like unpack, well, why am I having this feeling? What are the triggers behind it? Things like that. We're not a mental health podcast, obviously. Obviously, I mean, look at us. But
We need the
Yeah.
mental health podcast.
yeah, but in terms of that, so that sort of thing, I think there's obviously a lot of parallels between that and you said like songwriting. I think all three of us are musical. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like we both shouldn't have looked at Marcos then, but
You are musical,
Awkward.
man.
but I think there's an element of that. Like obviously, there's parallel. Like, if you're writing a song, that's the same sort of thing to me. You're getting thoughts down,
Yeah.
so it's sort of therapeutic and cathartic. Cathartic.
Yeah.
By virtue of it being a song or like a creative medium, so it doesn't have to be a song. We've done a lot of like films with the Jam and things like that, haven't we?
Yeah.
That then becomes a shareable thing.
Yeah.
So other people that might not even have the same exact things, but have similar sort of things that they're working through or are trying to put words to.
Do you think adding on to that, just generally writing stuff down, almost helps you figure stuff out as well? Not necessarily just like getting it out your head, but do you think just writing it down might help you process?
Yeah, because it's a safe thing to do. Like if you write down something like I can't think of any examples, but something like negative that's going on in your head, and like you put it down on paper or laptop or whatever, then sort of for me anyway, if I do something like that, it's sort of in the moment, seeing it written down it's sort of a bit colder, and like that's just how it was.
Yeah.
And I immediately start like, well, actually, that's not quite true, and then sort of things like that.
Okay.
And I think there's some things with that with David in the old Bible, because like you said in the chat, like it's like every other psalm was, God, why do you hate me? What's going on? And the next one was just like, mate, I am so sorry, God.
Yeah.
I know me and you are cool. Where have you gone again? I mean,
he's an up and down kind of guy.
For sure.
Right.
The man is a roller coaster.
So, like, a couple of things that I pulled out of what you guys were saying. So we had, like, Marcos said that, like, about emotions and us being emotional kind people, like, which sets us apart, I guess, from animals.
Dolphins.
That kind of probably dolphins. I love dolphins. Like I assume animals have emotions, because like you can definitely like see when they're angry or sad, but like human beings have that ability to kind of process emotion, whereas I think animals is kind of on its face value, isn't it, a lot of the time?
Yeah, I'm thinking about my dog.
Yeah, like it kind of happens and it's just in the moment, and then they go back to whatever they were doing before that. Like,
I saw a video of people that threw a surprise party for their dog.
Yeah,
the dog's he's got absolutely no idea what's going on, but because everyone else is like, the dog's like oh yes,
yeah, it's on.
Yeah.
But like they don't necessarily then hold on to it like we do.
No,
in the same way, and then that kind of then linked in with what you were saying about like if we use creativity to share our experience or our emotions or how we're feeling, or like David did in the Psalms, like it's almost like we need to connect with other people on that kind of thing, and like by us putting a song out or a film out or drawing a picture and sharing it, it's like it's our way of kind of sharing that experience with other people and connecting with them.
Yeah.
So there's this kind of like necessity of being a human being that says we need to connect with other human beings over those things that realistically, like if I'm feeling sad, a lot of the time, sometimes you kind of like, I don't really know why. Yeah. Like, it's untangible for us sometimes to understand why these things, why the emotions in our lives kind of happen to us.
Yeah.
It's like, realistically, I'd love to wake up every day and just be like, cool, can't remember what happened yesterday, I'll just carry on. Like,
yeah.
But that's not the way it works. It's like we're all the culmination of everything we've experienced.
Yeah.
And so to connect with other human beings over that through creativity and in a way that kind of feels like productive is quite an important thing, I would say.
Yeah.
And something that's, essentially sets us apart from a lot of other animals is that we use that as a way to sort of say, I'm going through something.
Yeah.
And I want to know if you're going through it as well. Like,
yeah.
And that's quite an interesting thought, I always think.
I was listening to a psychology podcast at some point in the last week. Am I supposed to advocate other podcasts?
You can do what you like.
It was a podcast about psychology. And it was talking about how humans have got the innate thing of wanting to be part of a group and things like that. And so like isolating yourself with negativity or something like that just puts a barrier between that. Whereas actually all of us, even the most like introverted, I hate people sort of thing, there's always like a bit of a longing to want to be a longing to belong.
Oh,
there's the title.
Wow,
there's the title. If that's not the title,
that's probably going to be the title now, isn't it?
I quit.
Yeah, I quit before you fire me again.
You like.
For the fifth time.
That's it. You can't quit. You're fired.
A longing to belong.
A longing to belong.
It's good, mate. It's good.
Tweetable.
Yeah, it is tweetable, isn't it?
Do we have a Twitter? We don't have a Twitter.
We don't have a Twitter. Well, we do, but we don't use it.
Instagrammable.
I like that. Yeah, we do have a longing to belong, don't we? It's why it's natural for human beings to want to find community, isn't it? And to find and to connect over things that they're with other people who do similar things, like and I think creativity is probably one of the easiest ways to do that. You think like I write songs and I play guitar, and then therefore whenever I go to a gig or I meet other people who do that, it's like instant instant connection, because you can go like, oh yeah, I love that bit of music or that bit of music, and I think it's probably on two levels. It's like we enjoy listening to music, but also there's like that connection over like, what that song is about or what that artist was saying through that lyric or whatever, like connects with us, doesn't it? And it almost gives us permission to talk about stuff. Like permission to share, like I connect with that song, I feel the same way, like, especially as guys, like,
I feel so heard.
That it's almost like a gateway to saying, you're allowed to like talk about this stuff in life.
It's okay not to be okay.
I think there's something that impresses me about David. Like King David was a king for a start. He kills Goliath with like a slingshot. He probably goes to war. Like he goes to war multiple times throughout his kingship. Like this guy is like a proper dude. Like he is not. He is not like little shriveled up like kid in like nerdy kid like in the corner. He's like the corner.
Oh no!
Which corner?
Whatever that is.
Like he's legitimately probably the coolest guy in Israel. Like and yet he still like feels the need. He's completely secure in that. I think that he writes all of this stuff down where he's like, I'm scared, I'm afraid, I'm like, I'm lonely, I'm angry, I'm sad. And it's like he didn't care. Like he was
and the
just
fact
like,
that he wrote so much of it as well.
Yeah,
I think that speaks volumes.
No, I can't remember how many of the Psalms are his, but it's a good proportion of out of the 150, and that's just out of the 150 that made it into the Bible. Yeah, he probably wrote like hundreds more. Like they just didn't make it in for whatever reason.
Not as good.
And that
Psalms is the greatest hit.
Too sad.
Greatest hits.
Now that's what I call a life with God.
So this leads me on to a question to finish this section. Does God care about our lives?
Oh, no.
Oh, right.
The end.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, that was that.
I would say God does care about our lives.
Why? And what do the Psalms prove to you about that? Like, what could you take from the Psalms that shows you that God cares?
Well, there's a lot of the Psalm that immediately comes to mind is the Lord is my shepherd.
Psalm 23.
Psalm 23. I completely forgot the number. That's the only reason why I didn't say it. I think it was very obvious. Unfortunately, as hard as I was trying to say, it's like the one that comes to mind is, and then I went, I can't remember the number. I'm just going to start saying it and hope this one jumps in. And it's that whole Psalm 23 is comfort. Do you know what I mean? It is talking about God looking after you. And I think it'd be odd to have inclusions of psalms like that and other ones like that. If God didn't care, it'd be a weird inclusion.
Marcos, got any thoughts?
Yeah, so my go-to would probably be Psalm 23 as well. Because like when you read it, it's such a peaceful and just like beautiful passage about, well, God essentially just leading us to peace and comfort and stuff. And I mean, would he do that if he didn't care? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I 100% get what you mean. I think my takeaway from like sort of studying the Psalms and reading them a lot, and kind of they're sometimes my like go-to thing, is that you think about it from two perspectives, right? That these psalms were written by human beings, so they're songs expressing emotions to connect with people, is what we said earlier. But then you remember that actually the Bible is the Word of God.
Yeah.
And so then you think like, so the Word of God translated through human beings onto paper through words that we understand. Like, so what that tells me is that these kind of songs are prayers, and these prayers are prayers gifted to us from God, and God is saying essentially, I want you to pray these things. So when you're feeling lonely or scared or afraid, or when you're feeling joyful and happy and like everything's going great, I want you to pray all of these things. Like, here's essentially a blueprint on how to talk to me, like, and how to connect with me when you feel like maybe you're lost or whatever. Like, and that's what the Psalms kind of mean to me, is they're like, they are God's words as much as they are the people who wrote them's words to God. Like, and that kind of says to me that God cares.
I think you alluded to it in the encounter talk, if I'm not like misremembering it, that like I think some people, maybe non-Christians, think that Christianity is like by the way, this is like life on easy mode, like you've got lots of thing, and the Psalms are there to they're not there just for this, but it shows like actually it's not all sunshine and happiness. And then in Isaiah, which is another book in the Bible, if you are not familiar, Isaiah was a prophet, and was something sort of famously that he said was it was that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. The takeaway for that for me and a lot of people is that it didn't say there are no weapons. It didn't say like everything's going to be easy. It's like, you are going to go through some stuff. You are going to struggle at times, but it's not the end of the story. Do you know what I mean? It's not that. And Psalms feels in conjunction with that like almost like a coping sort of thing in mental health terms, but also like I said also, but I didn't have another point.
I think the also could be that King David goes through so many ups and downs in his kind of leadership and life, that actually ends up in a place where, like, after he's done some pretty stupid things, to be honest, like he sleeps with another woman, and when he does that, he then tries to get her husband killed so that it's a bit of a cover-up, essentially. Like,
just to interject that, remember, this guy chosen by God, like pretty big deal in the old Bible game. Pretty like he's like a high card.
Yeah, and King Saul tries to kill him multiple times, and there's loads of wars and lots of other stuff happens, and essentially at the end of all of that, King David comes out the other end, and God goes, "You are a man after my own heart."
Yeah,
is what God says about David, and it's like the guy's literally an adulterer and like conspired to murder, and
I was going to say conspiracy to murder is still a crime,
and like and done like a lot of other not so great things, like and he's complained his way through his leadership. He's like whinged his way through being like King David, like, oh, woe is me, like
he's so human,
and God is still like, you're a man after my own heart, and it's like there isn't it's not necessarily like a Hollywood sort of ending to his story, but it is a very kind of like it all is well that ends well for David, and then his son Solomon actually then goes on to lead lead God's people even further in the right direction, and it's and so it's not just about him, it's about what he sets up and what it means for the future of God's people in the Bible, and it's like so many historical elements that kind of build up to it. But like it would have been so easy for the people who compiled the Bible like to have gone like, you know what, there's a lot of complaining in the Psalms. There's a lot of like,
oh, this is a bit dark.
Ooh, yeah, like this guy needs to like, hushy, like we don't want people to think that God isn't caring and that he forgets about us, and that, and it's like they could have easily taken it out, right? But they didn't. And it's there as the word of God, like to us as human beings. Yeah. And that kind of surprises me a little bit, because you'd think if you were trying to cover up stuff, or if you were trying to like make God seem like the all amazing, all fluffy guy in the clouds who's about to sort everything out for you, you would definitely get rid of the bits where you've got the one guy who should be really happy with how things went for him, complaining and whinging, like we edit our lives on Instagram, don't we? It's like, like I had a really bad hair day, so I'm not going to post I ain't posting any selfies today, like, and it's like these guys did not edit Like
are the ones that you post good hair days.
Savage.
Oh dear.
ouch. Wow.
Is that why you wear the hat?
Yeah, no, it's because I'm going. No, I'm not going bald.
Big bald patch where there's circle.
Yeah, it's so I feel taller. No, I don't know actually. I just like wearing hats.
It's nice. It's nice. No, yeah. I'm not criticising.
Yeah, you're fired. Like, but it just struck me the amount of times I've read through the Psalms. It's like, wow, he didn't hold back. Like,
yeah,
and that's got to be some proof, if any, that like there's a God out there who allowed that to happen. Like, in His word. Like, if you want to believe that there is a God.
Yeah, which we highly recommend.
We 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 would believe again.
Would believe again. Yeah, would go to church again, would become Christian again.
Yeah.
Great. So
now we go to questions from the audience. No, we don't.
What do you think?
Oh.
I've misread that.
Yeah, you have misread that. If you've got any thoughts on that matter, why not leave us a comment down in the comment section below.
Story time.
Story time.
Story time?
We need a new name for this section.
Yeah, it kind of sucks. Bit dry. So, comments, we need a better name for this little section. But basically, Ben's going to tell a story.
So, Friday was like the hottest day of the year so far. I think it got up to about 34 in some places.
Are you asking me or telling me?
I'm telling you, I think it was
about... It was warm, wasn't it?
It was pretty warm. It was a warm day. And so, like, our house gets kind of sunny and warm. So, at night time, we therefore then, like...
Somebody's got a sunny house.
Like, yeah, every house was sunny, you idiot. It was blooming warm. Like...
Yeah.
Like, but like, so like any normal person who doesn't want to exist or sleep in a 25-degree kind of like sauna, I opened all of our windows like to allow the cool air in, which is kind of just what people do, I guess.
I need to write that down.
Yeah, good life lesson. Like cooler air at night time. And so we're in a house, little semi house, and we've got like a flat roof extension out the back of our property.
Okay.
And so usually I don't like leave the windows open and let the cat run around. But because we wanted a bit of just through draft and just get rid of the sauna feel of our house, like I opened what is our second bedroom window, and Misty, who's our cat, she's an adopted cat of about 12 years old now or something like that. Cutest thing alive, and she'll get away with murder. And she decided at about 11 o'clock at night, she's mostly an indoor cat, I would like to add here, and elderly in cat years.
It's 12 old.
Yeah.
What is cat years? Dog years is 7 to 1, isn't it?
Yeah,
one year is
similar sort of thing, isn't it? Like, she's pretty old for a cat, like.
Sure.
So she's 12. That's
still fairly nimble, I would say.
It's 12 times 7. Is that 84? That's 84.
There you go.
Me.
Quick maths.
Wow, she's a grandma.
Don't know if it's right.
Anyway, so she's not the most nimble of animals anymore, and doesn't really do a lot. She sleeps most of the day, and then meows when she wants food. But at 11 o'clock on Friday evening, she decided to jump out of our bedroom window onto the flat roof extension, which is quite a drop. A drop. I hadn't realised. And about 5 minutes later, I'm like, I said to my wife, Mel, I was like, where's the cat? She's not in the house. And I'm like, no, because she doesn't know how to use the cat flap because she's an idiot. Like, so we know that, like, essentially if she's disappeared, we have to wait up for her, like, a dirty stop out. Like,
yeah.
It's like having a teenager, like, but she's fluffy and
small.
And yeah,
You get small teenagers.
she actually communicates better than a lot of teenagers. Like, so,
that's probably true.
Yeah. And
how old are you, Marcus?
I'm a teenager.
Yeah, he's a teenager. Look at him.
Yeah.
I don't communicate.
Yeah, no, look at him.
So next time we do the podcast, instead of Marcus, Misty.
Yeah, we just sit her on the table and just meow. Like, yeah, oh man. And so I was like hunting around for her, went outside, and I was like, she's like run away, like we're gonna have to like wait up for ages. And then we heard she's got like a bell round her neck. We heard the bell ding, and we were like, where the heck is that coming from? Like,
we Stranger Things.
We turn around to look at the house, and we're like, and she's like on the flat roof extension, and she can't get down, and she refuses to jump back into the window. And so I'm like, flame. Like, and then so we get the ladder out, and our ladder's like not the super tallest ladder, so I can't get up high enough to actually climb on the roof. And so I'm up this ladder at 11 o'clock at night going like, Misty! Misty! Get down, you stupid cat! Like, and she's like, she's just sat there like, and then she sort of has a look over there and she goes, nah, I can't get down there, mate. Like, and so then...
Well, that's not happening.
Yeah, literally. And so Mel's like, you know what, I'll get the catnip. And so, like, we try and drug the cat. Like, literally. I'm, like, shaking the catnip like a crazy lady. Like, they're coming. Like, and she comes over, she takes one sniff of the catnip and she goes like, ooh, yeah, that's nice. And then I, like, try and grab her and so then she just goes, whoop-ow! Like, and tries to go for me. And I'm like, oh, this is fruitless. And like, and then she decides that now she's drugged up on the catnip, she's gonna roll around on the roof, like, and she's just like,
I thought this would come like, okay, cool, a cat that's not coming down,
like,
give it some drugs.
Yeah, and she's
down
just
like a shot. It's like, no, that's
she's
not.
Just chilling out on the roof, just like in her happy place, like, you know. Oh, and it takes us another 20 minutes of dangling out of the window with the catnip to entice her back in the window. And I'm just like, it's like all of our neighbours are probably like, you weirdos. Like, and I'm just like, I'm having a like an emotional crisis at this point of like, man. I thought I was like that. I was hoping to be that nice neighbour, not the weird. You know, like you get like the weird neighbours. Like, I don't want to be the weird neighbour who's like, everyone's like, oh, there they are again, trying to get their cat off the roof. Like,
drugging their cat.
Yeah, drugging their cat at 11 o'clock at night. Because, again, and I'm like, literally, I'm just like, Misty, get off the roof. The thing is, like, the cat then eventually decides that she's going to jump back in the window.
Right.
And then she just carries on as normal.
That annoys me. That annoys me about animals, actually.
Yeah.
I want that on record. Mabel, my dog, if you're watching or listening and or / listening,
yeah,
right, stop doing stupid stuff.
Stop doing stupid stuff.
And then when you get caught, pretend like nothing's happened. I know what you're doing.
Who, me?
Right.
Don't know what you're talking about.
That's got nothing to do with the story. I just
but
flipping.
I mean, dog, man. And she just waltzed back in and was just like, yeah, right? Like,
was she drugged when she did it?
Well, no. So what do you think we do? Just like perpetually drug the cat?
I don't know. From this story,
yeah. I mean, yeah. Does it sound? I don't know any. Like, I don't have cats. I don't know anything about cats. Is catnip like a treat for them?
Oh yeah, because it's not a hard drug, guys.
You're not at all worried
like
that
methamphetamine.
You're not at all worried that what you've taught Misty
it's probably
if I go on the flat roof at 11 o'clock at night, I'll get a treat.
It's probably as potent as like caffeine is to us. So it's just a nice little buzz they get off of it. I think, they just go all like. Like,
that cat can't handle caffeine then.
But I don't look. Like you say that she might now associate the two. She is definitely not smart enough to do that. Not after Friday night.
At 84 years old as well.
At 84 years old, it's like your grandma jumping out of the window onto the flat roof and being like, "I'm not coming down."
Not unless you get me a cup of coffee.
At 11 o'clock at night, and then you're like, "Nana, get down!" And she's like, "No!"
You wouldn't be that loud. You're like,
No. We're like,
get back in the house.
You're making a scene. Like,
don't you poo on my roof. Poo in your box. Poo in your box.
Is that how you treat your grandparents?
When they're not in the box.
Yeah. Get in the box. Wow.
Cool story, bro. Maybe that's the title.
Cool story, bro.
Don't hate it.
Bro.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it?
I feel like you guys could probably come up with something better.
And if you don't, we're calling it Cool Story, bro.
Unless, of course, you creative bunch of catnipped cats can come up with a better name in the comment section. This is
Yeah.
YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Comment section.
On the comment section, if you're watching on YouTube, I mean, if you're listening to us on some podcast thing, then find us on YouTube.
Shout it really loud.
Why aren't you watching on YouTube?
Why, yeah.
It's way more funny.
Yeah.
You can see our faces and everything.
The snack thing, I'll be honest, when these two were describing what the snacks looked like, 4 out of 10, maybe.
All right.
Like, just find the video. We're way funnier to look at than to listen to, clearly.
Yeah. Tom is especially.
I mean, you know.
Thank you very much for joining us for the inaugural Encounter podcast. We hope you've enjoyed it. Leave us a comment, give us a like, tell your friends, tell your cats, tell your donkeys.
Tell your nana.
Tell your nana.
Tell your nana,
Tell
yeah.
your nana.
She might enjoy it, you never know.
Word to your nana. Oh, do you know what? I stopped myself from saying something really bad then.
And
Scene.
And see you next time. Bye. All right.
And see you next time. Look at the audio.
See you next time.
And
We're
from
good
the
at
bottom
this.
of our hearts, come back soon. That was the first podcast.
Goodbye.